Hey, good evening, everyone. You're most welcome to yet another edition of FD Career Talks. This is a great one. I'm very expectant for this very one, and it so happened to be our very last one of the year. I'm so excited. So please, if you can hear me, please just react. Use those emojis to react. Can you hear me? Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please tell us where you're coming from, where you are at the moment. If you're wherever you are, tell us you're from Kampala, you're from Juba, you're from South Africa, you're from Kenya. Please just share where your location in the chat. We would like to know where you are. And please, as you share your chats, kindly check up on a friend. Tell him that we are live. Send them a link. This is a very interesting conversation you shouldn't miss. I don't expect anyone to miss this conversation because it's very heavy. It's very timely and relevant for some of us who are very serious about our life, our personal growth, our career growth, our personal development. So please reach out to a friend, share that link, tell them that we are live. Those who are unable to log in via Zoom, we are live as well on YouTube. So please, you can reach out. Thank you very much, Mercy. Mercy is from Uganda, Kampala. Thank you. She's a student. Thomas is saying he's from Kampala. Please tell us where you're coming from, where you are. We'd like to know where you are. Tell us your name, what you do. Well, thank you very much. Please send a text message to those people. Your friends, send that link in that group. Let them know that the conversation has already kickstarted. They should not miss even a single dot. Thank you so much, Caston. I don't know where I mentioned your name very well. He's a mechanical engineer from Kampala. Thank you so much, Joel. Yes, like at least I can get the other name. Please tell us where you are. Me, I'm from Kampala, where I am from Itinda. So please tell us where you are. We'd like to hear what you are doing. We're about to start in just a few minutes. Someone is called Ivan. Thank you so much. Ivan is from Cavalry. That is so good. Thank you so much. Ruth is from MOOC. She's a student. Thank you. Good to see you, Ruth. I'm seeing Fred. Thank you so much, Fred. Good to see you. And many others. Please keep them coming through. We are so excited for tonight. Elsie, she's an engineer from Kampala. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Keep those chats coming through. As we kickstart our conversation, I would like us, of course, to start with an opening prayer. So I'd like to have a volunteer from the audience just to give us an opening prayer. Anybody who is willing to unmute and give us opening prayer. Anyone?
I can give an opening prayer.
Thank you so much. Please tell us your name and what you do and where you are, and you go ahead.
I'm called Mutamba Margaret. I'm listening in with Elsie. I come from Chira. I'm a civil and environmental engineer.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Let's humble
Please
ourselves.
go ahead.
Okay. Loving Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for this time that you've given us. As a team, as people who are ready to learn, ready to grow, and take our place as the good stewards that you have set us to be. We thank you for all the speakers who are going to share with us their knowledge and wisdom. We thank you for open hearts, for open ears. Thank you because we understand everything they're saying. And thank you because this meeting shall be spirit-led. I also thank you for participation and continuous learning. All this I pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen and amen. Thank you so very much for that short prayer. We appreciate. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is an interesting one. But before even, I would like to congratulate us. For those who have been with us, I don't know, please, if you've been with that from the very beginning, if you attended our very first session, I think was it in June. By the way, today we have had this is our 13th session. This is our 13th session of the year. I'm so excited that the feedback has been so overwhelming positive. Many of us have been impacted. Very soon we are going to be doing some success stories. So if you reach out to you to provide a success story, please feel free to share with us that success story, what end of this conversation. We have had quite a number of speakers coming through to really share with us from their hearts, their experiences, and really guide us through on our professional and entrepreneurship journey. So I'm so excited. So this is our 13th session, and next year is going to be amazing. Next year we're taking it a bit higher. We have a list of speakers that we have prepared for you all year through. So I'm so excited. It's going to be so interesting about it. And please, if you'd like to catch up with some of this conversation, please subscribe on our YouTube channel. The channel has been shared on the chat by Patrick. So please just tap on that link and subscribe. You'll be able to receive some of these highlights. Other videos have not yet been uploaded, but we are uploading them one by one. So please reach out. So why are we having these conversations? I normally highlight the reason as why we are having this conversation every time we have this conversation. And I would like you to know that this conversation are not just here for us to drift through and just enjoy and have fun. But this conversation are simply meant for you. They are meant to support you. They're meant to guide you. They are meant that they are put in place to ensure that you have a structured life, a guided life. Many of us, when we were growing up, probably would not have an opportunity to have conversations like this, experienced people, mentors, leaders to share some of this guidance with us. But here we are today. You're having it free of charge. So I'm so excited. In fact, you should clap for us. Just clap. Clap for us, clap for Future Day, and clap for that our speakers who have taken time to really come through and share with us from the very beginning. Let's clap. I'm not seeing anyone clapping. So let's clap. Thank you very much. Thank you for clapping, really. These conversations are timely and they're relevant to many of us. And personally, I've been impacted. There are so many things that I've learned from these very conversations here. So please ensure that you attend them, you take them seriously. Of course, there is always, I don't want to call it a kind of a maxim out there. I believe that, when people come for these conversations like this, about 55% of them are able to implement what they have had. But for us here, I believe that many of us here, 3/4 of us here, are very serious people, and we intend to implement every single thing that has been that we always share and that has been spoken in the podcast like this. So please, every single thing that is going to be shared here, take it seriously. And I always tell you that there are 3 reasons as to why you're having this conversation. One, we're living in a very disruptive environment, very, very disruptive. We have AI coming into place, quite a number of innovations coming through, Web3 innovations, metaverse, blockchain, and many others have come to disrupt the normal or conventional ways of work, of even investments as well. Nowadays, people are no longer investing in the things that people used to invest back then. Back then, you could, for as long as you have an idea and you have the finances to do it, to just go and open up a shop or, invest in anywhere else, and you start, and a few years you're able to you succeed in what you're doing. Nowadays, the trends have totally changed. So there is the need for us to adapt. There is need for us to shift our paradigm, our mindsets into the new norm of doing things. There is what we call global economic polarization, where a few sectors, key areas are being emphasized and others are being there are no more emphasis in those areas, and the middle space is a bit shrinking day in, day out. So there is need for us to get to understand some of those areas, and that's why we are so much focused on having this conversation, especially in the areas of technology and many others. But also we are looking at the skills mismatch and a skill gap in the job market. Many of us, if I ask all of us here, each of us here to tell us that if you actually you have a job of the specific course that you did when you're at campus, maybe 3 or 4 will tell me, probably a doctor will tell me, okay, I'm doing medicine, maybe an engineer will tell me that, but many of us who did business administration sciences and many of the other courses probably are into something else at the moment. So even personally, who is talking, so there is that kind of situation that is currently on the market. But also recently, according to the World Economic Forum under the National Bureau of Statistics, they revealed that 61% of the employers in Uganda report that all the students that are graduating do not actually have the skills that are relevant for the job market, for the jobs available. Yes, the high employment rate is very high, about 87%. And I was actually having a conversation with someone prior to this, and I was telling them that Uganda releases about close to 700 to 800,000 graduates every single year. And the government or the country is able to absorb only 90,000. What does that mean? That means roughly 710 remain floating. Okay, they don't have jobs and all that. So the employment rate is very high. So, but there's some jobs that are available for those who have the skills that are required for them. So, which skills are required? That's why we are having this conversation. And the third one that I emphasize most is the expectations. Many of us are saying maybe Dr. Anita is doing well. She's a PhD holder. She's a CEO and all that. Mr. Horace is doing amazing. He's an engineer flying in and out of the country every single day. But you actually don't know what happens. You don't know what the path he has taken through. So there is need for us to have a realistic conversation to get to know what exactly happens. What are the disciplines? What are the routines? What are the characters and the principles that you need to undertake to get to that place? In terms of investments, yes, you're thinking of this idea of building this company and all that, but do you really know what it takes to do that? Okay, so that's why we are having this conversation. And today, really, we want to focus on intentional living. Well, the year is coming to an end. Of course, we're beginning a new year. So there is always a situation whereby when the year is ending and the year is starting, most of the times all of us sit back and probably reflect on some of the unmet goals, on some of the accomplishments, and see how you can recalibrate and realign and set up goals for the next year and prepare yourselves for the next year. But have you really, but most of us really set that, but what is the discipline? What is that kind of a character that will take you through to firstly able to achieve those goals, but also be able to set those goals with purpose and be able to put them into structure and develop a certain kind of discipline to achieve them at the end of the year. Many of us, if I may start asking each of us here, that how many of us set up goals at the beginning of the year and have achieved them? Okay, we have achieved some of the success or results, but most of them probably could, maybe they couldn't have come from the goals that you set, or others you tried, but at least a half of it, and many others. So that's a conversation that we'd like to explore today. How can you structure your goals that you've set? How can you live and drift through the year with intention, with purpose and focus? And we have two great people here today that I revere so much, people that I admire, people that I've been following for quite some time. They have done an amazing job out there in a professional space, and they've inspired quite a number of young people. They are leaders, they are mentors, they are coaches, and they're here to guide us on this conversation today. So I'm so excited. Just sit back, relax, enjoy, and get a pen, grab a cup of coffee. If you have one, please, maybe a bottle of water and a notebook, simply, and a pen. Just take and jot down every single nugget of the conversation tonight. So I'm ready. I'm expectant, and our speakers are already on the call, and I can't wait to invite them. But before I invite them, I'd like to just share one or two things. Number one, Future Den is having a flagship event. It's called the Next Step International Business Symposium. It's a physical event that we are hosting next month on 6th of December. This event is aimed at bringing together different professionals, different key stakeholders, organizations, and entrepreneurs in one room, just to have a solution-focused kind of conversation on the future of work and enterprise. It's the same conversation. We're trying to look at the first gap that we're trying to solve here. How can young people align themselves, and how can we be able to invest in rightful places given this disruptive environment that we are living in today? So it's an interesting conversation. We have a list of amazing people on the speaker list. We have different key stakeholders and organizations coming in. We have International Labour Organization coming in to share a few of insights. We have Makerere University. We have MasterCard as well coming in, and many other speakers that are on board already. So I can't wait to have that conversation in place. So for those of you guys who are looking for mentors, for some of you guys who are looking for ideas on how you can scale up, but also how you can sustain your business and also how you can access finances, we have other organizations that are going to come in to showcase some of the activities and some of the things that they do to support young entrepreneurs. How can you access funds so easily? How can you scale up in business? And of course, so they also mentor people along that side. So they're coming in to exhibit, but also they are coming in to have a kind of mentorship sessions during the conversation. So please ensure that you come. Secure a ticket. Under a ticket is only 30,000 shillings, and a VIP ticket is only 70,000 shillings. And this money is not basically for maybe profits and all that. Is basically to manage the event, because there are costs that are involved. So we put this value to just support in managing the event. So it's just an investment for your personal selves. And it also shows that you're willing to invest for your personal development. So please secure your ticket as early as possible. Tickets are almost sold out, but please, before we close, ensure that you secure yours. Come and network. At the end of the event, we're having a network session, just networking, where you're able to share numbers, we're able to have a conversation with some of the CEOs that are going to be in that conversation. So don't miss out. Don't miss out. So that is what I wanted. So kindly, once again, please go on YouTube, subscribe to Future Den. It's called Career Talks. Career Talks. Just go to Career Talks. The link has been shared. Please make sure you subscribe, and you'll be able to receive all the other updates. Well, a bit of housekeeping. Number one, be attentive. Don't go to the kitchen and maybe go on another call. Just be attentive. Ensure that you're focused, and take note of every single nugget that is going to be spoken here. We're going to have our speakers go through in the next few minutes, 15 or so, 10, to just introduce themselves and also speak to the topic tonight, share a bit of their insights. Then later on, we shall have a bit of structured questions as well. Then we'll involve you. Keep the chat active, share your insights, your questions. If you have a question for Dr. Anita, if you have a question for Engineer Horace, please share them on the chat. We'll be able to read them out, and also give you an opportunity to ask a question. You'll be able to unmute and ask a question. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me welcome our guest speakers tonight, and I would like to give each of them 2 minutes. I'm not going to introduce them, but because usually when you try to introduce them, these guys have a lot of accolades, so I don't want to really interrupt their introduction. So they're going to introduce themselves in 1 or 2 minutes, then we'll continue from there. So ladies and gentlemen, let's clap. Let me see you guys clapping. If you're not clapping, I'm not going to invite them. Let's clap. Let me see you guys clapping. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I can see we are following. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let me begin with Engineer Horace. Engineer Horace, kindly introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what you do. Yes, sir.
Yes, hello everyone. I am very grateful to join in this evening. Once again, my name is Horace Muhamia, and by profession, I'm an engineer with the Ministry of Water and Environment, and also the president of the Institute of Asset Management, and the board chair at the same time. Yeah, so I'm very, very delighted to be here. I thank Stephen and the Future Den team. Thank you so much for having me. And I believe and trust that we'll all be edified through today's session, and we'll continue to learn and grow together. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Horace. Let's clap for Engineer Horace. Let's clap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get tired of clapping. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Anita Maringa.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Can you see me? Is my
yes, I can
lighting
see you very well.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for logging in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Stephen, for putting this wonderful program together. I've enjoyed the introduction part of it, sharing with us what is happening with Future Den, and you guys are doing an amazing job. Well done, proudly associated. Glad to be here. Glad to meet Engineer on call, and I know we're going to have a wonderful conversation. Two things happened this year, two milestones for me. Actually, three. I celebrated 10 years in marriage. Yeah, it was, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary in marriage. Yeah, I'm a mother of four. And the next is that I celebrated 35 years. I celebrated 35 years. That was a huge milestone also. But I also graduated with a doctorate, yes, in business and management. So I got my PhD this year, just in October. And so those three milestones, alongside other milestones, were key this year. And so I have all the reasons to give thanks. My name is Anita Malinga, and I have the privilege of leading the team at Shine Leadership International, where some of you may know, may not know. And yeah, I've said I'm married for 10 years. I'm a mother of four. I work with Enterprise Uganda. That's my 8 to 5. And I'm also the founder of Shizen Foods, an organic food business that promotes eating healthy. And so very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time. Over to you, Stephen.
Oh wow, doctor, allow me come for marriage counseling after here.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you very much, guys. Let's clap for doctor. Let's clap for doctor, please. Let's clap for her, especially those who are not married. Please clap for her. You know, you take up the blessing. We take up the blessing. Thank you very much. She's also an entrepreneur, just like she has said, and congratulations, doctor, for that, for those milestones. 10 years in marriage. Oh my goodness. I think I celebrated my 40 years in marriage last week. So please clap for me as well. Thank you so much. Then, by the engineer, Horace as well graduated recently with a master's. Let's also clap for him. I don't think whether he introduced himself as well, but he graduated recently in his master's. I don't know whether he's pursuing PhD, but I think he does. He's a very focused man. He inspires me a lot. So let's celebrate him as well. So we have amazing guys on the panel today. So I'm going to give each of them 10 minutes just to speak to the conversation. What does it mean, intentional living? You know, and how can you prepare for the year? Let's just have them speak from their heart, from their minds, and how they have been doing it and what they know about it. And I would like to begin with Dr. Malinga. Please take us through the next few minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen. And this is a very, very important topic that if each one of us on call can go away just understanding and appreciating what intentional living is, there's so much impact we can have where we are, whether it's our workplace, whether it's in school, at campus, in your business. This is a very important topic. And for me, it's close because personal development or just getting to encourage you to be in control of your life, because intentional living means you're the driver of your life. You are the steering wheel. You're not triggered. You're not often triggered by external circumstances, but even if you are, you remain in control of your emotions, your behaviors, your actions, your decisions. You choose to live. You aim with it. You know, the word intentional comes from it has an origin, intensio. And when you dig deeper about that word, it basically comes down to waking up each day, but with a certain aim to achieve something. you're intentional. So it means you need to put in work. If you're going to be intentional about your life, it means you're going to be conscious in the decisions you're making. Life doesn't just happen. You don't wake up in a day without knowing what exactly is going to happen that day. You like today, you already have at least a picture of what tomorrow will look like, not because everybody has dictated what will happen tomorrow, but because you've said tomorrow, this is what I'll do, this is where I'll go, this is who I will call, this is the person I will visit. You have made those proactive decisions. Now, if you're not intentional, you're going to go to bed right now without exactly knowing uh, what will happen tomorrow. Not that we are God, we control what happens tomorrow, but we plan ahead. We take a proactive action. If there's an email you've not yet responded to, you say, now let me respond to it so that tomorrow this is a step I'll take. And so intentional living really, it's a lifestyle. You choose that approach. You're so intentional about it that you don't live your life to chance. You plan your next move, you say what is going to happen, and you actually follow through and do it. And so it's those things, and that's what intentional living is about, not just career wise, but the same for your health, the same for your finances. You choose, you tell your money where to go instead of leaving it to chance, because you pass somewhere, you see something attractive, you because you've not told your money where to go, now the things are telling you where that money should go. Your spirituality, what conscious decisions have you made to grow spiritually? What conscious decisions have you made? What choices? What are you aiming at basically? And so that's intentio in Latin. Aim at something. And then after you've aimed at it, go ahead and action on it. I'll leave it at that for now, Stephen, and allow engineer to come in and add on. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for Doctor, please. That's amazing. Intentional living is a lifestyle. Wow. Something to fathom, something to ponder on. It just doesn't happen. You have to be intentional. You have to be serious about it and go ahead and really act on it. Really, thank you so much, Doctor, for that very precise and elaborate presentation. Thank you. Let's clap for Doctor once again. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Engineer Horace.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for that wonderful introduction to our topic today. Yes, and I'll just pick it on from there and just add a word or two. Yeah, so like she mentioned, really, we're talking about how you live with intention, being more deliberate and proactive about how life turns out, how the events of your life come through. And it's very, very important to know that we have been given the power to be, and that's important because it means you have a responsibility for what you actually turn out as. You have a responsibility for how your life plays out. You have a responsibility. And for me, I think it means so much because when we understand that we have that responsibility, then we also realize that we have been graced with the power to be. Yeah, so our lives are not meant to just be, we're not meant to just wake up and wait for whatever happens and see how the day goes, as they would say, que sera, sera, that whatever will be, will be. And no, we have been designed and been granted the power to be and the power to become, essentially. Yeah. And for me, in that regard, one of the very outstanding things that emphasizes this even more is this verse in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 20, and which says that he that handles a matter wisely shall find good. And when you read it in the Message version, it says it amazingly. He says that it pays to take life seriously. It pays to take life seriously. So, of course, not extremely seriously, but then, but seriously enough. Yeah. So it pays to take life seriously in that we we are the outcome of what we have determined. So whatever we are, it's either because we have proactively chosen to become it, or we have indirectly, by being inactive about what we should become, we have indirectly become what we actually determined to be. Yeah, so activity and inactivity, they all have consequences. So if you are proactive, there is a consequence for that. If you're not proactive, there is also a consequence for that. So now that means that that it is within our means to have a contribution to how our life plays out. And so, and this definitely comes through understanding who we are, firstly, and also what we have been granted, and understanding the source of what I'm now calling that power to be. Yeah, and for me, definitely it comes to the place of faith and to the place of understanding my relationship with my God, because I believe that's where it all starts from. He's the author and the perfecter thereof, and therefore, if he is the source and he's the originator, it means that the fullness of the fullness of what I am can actually only be found through understanding that place of the source. Yeah, so that's why for me, to prosper and to excel in anything or in life, in this life, or whether to live intentionally, whether to have a life designed for purpose and to have a fruitful life, it all comes back to the the origin and the source of that ability, the source of that very life that we're talking about. So for me, my whether it be my profession, whether it be my education, all through, I find them, they're inseparable from the place of my faith and the place that I have my conviction with my God. Yeah, so for me, that now gives and emphasizes the responsibility of what I must become, of what I must be, of what I must live as. So it gives more intentionality. And for all of us, really understanding, like Doctor mentioned, if we all here understand that and really become proactive about it, this world will be in good trouble, because it means that all of us will be able to strive to live to the fullest of the potential within us. And that's very important, because we all have very wonderful distinctions amongst us and within us, and it is part of our responsibility and life's purpose to make sure that we become all that we were meant to be. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for Doctor. Let's clap for just what a presentation. Thank you so much. Engineer Horace, we have all given the power. We have all been granted the power to become. We carry that power. We carry that power. That for me is something else. You carry that power, you know. Then you also brought in the aspect of really connecting to the source, your relationship with God, which is very, very important. The moment you unplug from that relationship, from the source, that definitely it is not, it comes back to your ability. And of course, with your ability, you may not be able to sustain it at the end of the day. So intentional living comes with that spiritual aspect, that connection with the source. Thank you so much, engineer. And ladies and gentlemen, by the engineer, got married of recent, we were dead, so that's why you see the revelation just pouring out from east, west, south. So please, let's clap for him as well. Let's clap for him. And that takes me to our very first question of the day. And since you brought in that aspect, I want him to just give us some of the practical ways on how we can embody some of the values, some of the virtues and the goals and the visions that we always set up at the very beginning of the year. We all have those visions. We all say, just like I highlighted in the very beginning of this conversation. So how can we, the participants and individuals, be able to embody those values and goals into our routine decision making, even when the competing issues arise at the same time? Do you mind giving us some of those practical ways, engineer?
All right, thank you, Stephen. Yes, I thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I got married earlier this year in May. Yeah, so Doctor, we are many looking to you. So I also graduated with my MBA from the UK this June, and that's my third master's degree. And yeah, I'm also as well pursuing my PhD. Should be graduating soon. Yeah, so thank you very much. And yeah, I bring you greetings. Yeah, all right. So just getting to the practical side of it, it's always one thing to have the ideology and the philosophy over different things, but then to be able to translate that, the wisdom, translate that into the practicality of it, such that we have a tangible fruit of what we are talking about. It's very, very important. And for me, I think there are quite a number of avenues or ways that could be spoken of in regarding to how we put this into our day-to-day living and into how we operationalize it, how we bring it into context of how we daily live. Yeah, and I think one of the things is understanding the conception of things from an idea or wishful thinking, to the end of it being actually fully manifested or fully implemented, and fully done. Yeah, because when we have an idea, or what would now say a vision, maybe something that you want to do, you mentioned at the beginning of the year, people always have New Year's resolutions. So you have 10 resolutions at the beginning of the year, and they also reduce as you complete the 12 months of the year. By the 12th month, you have only one. So it's important to know that beyond just the wishful thinking of things or just the hopeful expectation of things, there is an aspect that is demanded of us based on what we claim to have believed. And I brought to remembrance the verse that talks about how faith without works is dead. Meaning, if you have something and you claim to believe it, but you do not follow it up with the proactive steps that symbolize the belief in that very thing, then you actually don't have that belief. So when you say, I have this idea, or I have this plan, or I have this plan, and this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to become, this is the direction I want to take, and you're not being proactive about it, then maybe, or just maybe, you may not actually believe it as you claim to believe it. Yeah, so the place of moving from just merely ideation to the implementation and the fruitfulness of that idea. So to me, the idea or the vision comes in as a seed, but then the watering is now how do we get it to actually become a fruit, so that we now enjoy the fullness of what we started off as an idea or as that seed. So moving from the vision to the action, and beyond the action to actually realizing the fruit thereof. In Habakkuk 2:2, the Bible says that write the vision and make it plain, that he that reads it will run with it. Meaning, one of the things that we have actually, part of our proactive steps becomes in how we put it down. Now, this putting it down would be now classified as articulation. Usually, by writing is very important. One of my mentors usually tells me, and he says, if you must always have these three things. You have the idea, you write it down, you act on it. Yeah, because an idea that's not acted upon is, well, good as nothing, because it never went beyond its conception. So when we're talking about intentional living, and yes, planning for this have living in 2026 by purpose, but I think just beyond 2026 to the fullness of our lives, because we have to draw a certain picture, a certain image, a certain, what would say, a certain vision of where we want to be, or who we want to be actually, not just where. Usually it's not so much about the where or the things that surround, but rather to who you want to be. So who you want to be, I believe it's very, very important once you have gone through that, yes, through the series of the meditation of seeking your God, of doing introspective outlooks, and looking into what is within, what is that thing that must come out of you, that must come forth, that potential that is within. So when you have done that, I think it's always very important to note it down or be acted out. People have different versions of it. They'll tell you about the vision boards, putting it there in pictures, in words, all that. But really, it comes back to the mind that if it is written down in plain it is written down plainly, he that reads it is able to run with it. He that reads it is able to run with it. And so, meaning, we are now looking at the actions that follow what we have believed. Because by having this picture, having this vision, or having this idea, or this person that you see yourself that you must be at the end of the year, or at a certain point, or in your life generally, you have that is now the guarantee of the vision for your life. And usually people sometimes have found that some people want the fullness of that picture to first come out, and they see that be like this, exactly like this to the detail. And I tell people, every great painting was made a brush at a time, meaning every great painting, whether it be the Mona Lisa or whichever, all the Michelangelos, they made their wonderful paintings a brush, a stroke at a time, one by one. So meaning we don't necessarily have to wait for the fullness of everything to be in place and to be well understood in our minds and conceptualized in order for us to say, now this is where we want to go. Sometimes it comes bit by bit, and in the willingness and the obedience to move with that bit by bit, you qualify as faithful in that little, and therefore more is revealed, more comes to you, and you're able to continue growing and having a more full, a more real picture of where you ought to be. So now translating it into that, and then having the writing or whichever sort of projection, and then to being able to act upon it. Yeah, so I think, yeah, they're really quite a number, but I think one of the key things is being able to put it down, then to actually act on it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Let's clap for engineer. Let's clap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's clap for engineer. Let's clap. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Every great painting was actually made with a brush at a time. I don't know how that really flipped. I started thinking of so many things, the books I read and all those things talk about compounding effect. Every single activity, every single thing that you do will catamount, will contribute to the greater cause. Quite a number of things there. You also read Atomic Habits, the small things that you do every single day really mean a lot. So when you talked about that, really so many things really started coming ahead of my head. But he said that writing a vision is very important. Yes, you've taken a step to write, but also act on it. Include on it on every twin. Okay? Talk about vision walls and all that. So you need to have it in your head to ensure that you should not walk out of it. Every day you have to do something about it, whether it's a job, whether it's what, and many others. And really, engineers expounded it on it so much. Watering, leads to its manifestation. Thank you so much for those insights, engineer. So this takes me to the next question to Dr. The aspect of resilience and persistence. We understand that intentional living plays a bigger role in influencing these two things, because these are very fundamental. Actually, I call them principles. They are very, very great principles when it comes to the path of progress, the path of success, resilience, and persistence. They really determine how far we can go as well. So how do you think this intentional living can be able to influence these two great laws, but also in case things change, if circumstances shift, how can we recalibrate ourselves to ensure that we do not walk off the lane? Yes, doctor?
Yes, thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you, Engineer Horace, for the wonderful submission. Yes, indeed, it's true, as Engineer Horace has said, when many people have visions, they'll write them down. Others have goals, well, others have intentions, good intentions, they'll write them down. But actioning on it is where the real deal is. for you to actually move and take action. That is where the winning is, not just in writing the vision. It's a step taken, yes, but now the actioning. And for you really to move from vision to seeing what you want to achieve in life come to pass, or achieving your goal, you will need persistence, you will need resilience, you will need that. And you will need the determination. Why? Because every time you write your goals down, you've invited some kind of opposing force you may not, that is even not visible. And so first, you might be even that opposing force, you yourself. And that's where I want to focus on the self. It's easy to talk about determination. It's easy to talk about resilience, but what is it actually? What does it look like? Why do people struggle with it, especially in achieving their goals? And especially in achieving their goals, but also achieving your vision. You see, when you want to achieve something in life, you need to be serious. And by serious, I don't mean, having a tough face and, going around and intimidating everyone. I'm serious, I'm serious. No. Intentionality comes in there. That thing you want to achieve, do you really want to achieve it? Or is it some good idea somewhere that you've picked, that you saw, maybe it worked for so and so, it worked. If it's working for them, why isn't it working for me? What's the purpose of your life? And then you anchor your vision right there. And so we need to be serious. We need to take an audit, have a meeting with yourself, and clearly understand these things you're saying you want to achieve. Are you real with them? Is it something you want to achieve, or is it something that you think if it happens, it will be good. If it doesn't happen, it's still okay. And so there is some kind of seriousness that is needed when setting goals and when you're setting down a vision. Say, how bad do you want to achieve the things you've written out? So be serious, but also you're going to have to push yourself, and that's where the resilience comes in. That's where you have to put in the hard work. It's tough. I don't know how best to say it, but for you to achieve your goal, it's not going to come on a silver platter. For you to achieve your vision, there is work that goes in it. There are phone calls that need to be made. There are people you will need to meet. There are books you will have to read. There are resources, financial resources you need to mobilize. It's a lot of hard work. And the mistake I see is people sometimes we write down our goals and visions and leave it to chance and expect God for miracles. He's still a miracle worker. But faith without action, as Engineer Horace has reminded us in the good book, is dead. The action is you getting up on your feet and doing something about it. If it's a relative who has your breakthrough and you're not talking for some reason, can you think reconciliation and go and make the first move instead of saying, if they don't come and talk to me, I will not talk to them, and so let us see. Instead of us trying to want to surprise people in life, those people tortured me when I was young, now I'm going to surprise them. Let them wait and see the kind of person I'm going to become. And so you need to push yourself. You need to there are things you will do that you won't feel comfortable about. Let me put it that way. So be serious, push yourself, put in the hard work, and also I want to bring this point of, for you to do that, you need to know yourself. You need to understand who you are. Make sure that you don't know your gadget, your phone, more than you know yourself. You don't know your laptop more than you know yourself. How well do you know yourself? Because then, if you don't know who you are, then your vision may easily be misplaced. And by knowing who you are without leaving it out there in the dark, because you need to know your capacity. In gadgets, we call them specifications. You need to know your specifications. You know your phone has a RAM of this capacity, it has a storage of this capacity, it has a camera of these megapixels, but they'll ask you, for you, what are your specifications? A taxi is written on licensed to carry only 14 passengers. And the reason they're telling you its capacity is so that it does not load more than that, because if it does, then there's damage that is going to happen. What is your capacity as a person? Do you know it? Because some of us move when we are overloaded. And then even our visions don't have a place where we don't even have time to achieve these goals and visions because we're already in excess. We've carried on all the baggage of our relatives, our, friendships, our relationships. Now you can't even achieve your vision. So there are so many things that get between us and achieving our vision. And this ignorance of self is one of the biggest is one of those biggest things that deter us from achieving our vision. That even if you put in the work, even if you say all the prayers, even if you somehow ignorance of man, of yourself, about yourself, kind of spoils everything. And then you keep wondering, why aren't I achieving my goals? Now, you need to understand that you as a person, knowing yourself, man, let me give you a definition of man. Probably some of you have heard it from somewhere else. Man is a spirit that lives in a body that has a soul. This is scripture. And when Jesus said we should have life, and when he came to give us life and life in its fullness, he was talking about body, spirit, and soul. And so for you to know yourself, you need to know yourself physically as a person. You need to know yourself spiritually, but also there's also part of it emotionally, mentally. You need to understand who you are. What's your temperament? What's your personality? Because you will take on a vision of a totally different temperament. And you see, the way God wired us is we are a system. A person is a system. And so there are some things you can handle and there are some things you can't handle. Now, if you have a certain temperament and personality, it might not be able to handle a capacity of other, a certain vision. And so you struggle with the vision because naturally, by the way, you are not wired to achieve, or you are not wired to carry that kind of vision. And it happens. So if you don't know yourself, you will end up carrying things you are not supposed to carry. I don't know if that makes sense. So know yourself. When you know yourself, you will know, even as you push, even as you're trying to be resilient, even as you're trying to be hardworking, you will know that here, this is where I stop. I cannot go beyond. Even as you're trying to push yourself, do not push yourself to your deathbed and start getting sick, falling sick, just because you're trying to push yourself, but out of self-awareness and well understanding yourself that this is who I am as Anita. This is my personality. This is my temperament. These are my abilities. This is my capacity. This is what I can handle. It will help you not to overload yourself. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think what I'm trying to say is every one of us, God has given us a vision. Now, whether you've seen it yet or not seen it yet, it's just a matter of time. And God will not give you a vision you cannot handle. But you see, the key statement there is you cannot handle. Now, if you don't know the you, that's already a problem. And so take time, know yourself, and then anchor yourself in purpose. God, why am I here? Why did you even bring me on earth? Yes, you'll have the degrees, you'll have the PhDs, but at the end of the day, you'll not be asked to account for all the PhDs you got when you are alive. You will account for the purpose for which you were created. And so it will be good for you to say, I got all these things, but I used them to achieve this, my purpose. Now, when you come from that point, it's easy to push. It's easy to wake up in the morning and say, this is what I'm going to do. It's easy for you to get to know who to talk to. You then place yourself in the right environments. I mean, if you've said I'm going to pursue the law, I'm going to become a lawyer, I'm going to become an engineer. I'm sure Engineer Horace is part of an association of engineers. He's not in the law society. Why? Because he's engineering, and that's the environment he keeps looking out for environments like that. For me, it may be education, it's business. And so you'll find me in networks of business people because now I've discovered that that's where I am, or that's where I belong. And so, again, I want to leave it at that, have the vision, but actioning it will need you to be serious, document your life. And I love what God does in the book of Genesis. Even when he said in the beginning there was darkness, formlessness, and emptiness in Genesis chapter 1 there. You'll see in verse 3, chapter 1, verse 1, 2, and 3, it says, "Let there be light." And that was vision. Now, when the light came, he started creating the world with the word. And God said, and God said, and God said. So when you get vision, when God shows you who you're going to become or who you're becoming, go ahead and say the kind of life you want to live. I want to achieve my master's. I am going to, because speak life to your vision. And then action, take action, do something, at least one small thing towards your vision each day. I'll leave it at that, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for Doctor. Thank you so much. Knowing yourself, it's very important. The foundation of progress is really understanding yourself. You cannot wake up every day looking up to what you're doing if you don't understand yourself. The most successful people on earth are those who have really understood themselves. They are really those who are walking in the path of who they are. Those who are walking in their identity, those who have understood, because if you do not understand yourself, you cannot really find your purpose. It's very important, and that goes back to the principle of awareness. And I don't know whether Coach Ruth really, Dr. Anita popped into, she could have peeped into my notes. There is a book I'm writing on the principle on awareness, really understanding yourself, who you are, and how can you really scale up from where you are. I don't know whether she looked into my notes, but possibly she did in the spirit. But thank you so much, Doctor, for that. And really she has tackled the other aspect of the second question that I was going to ask. But ladies and gentlemen, let's kindly share the questions on your chat. And even before I go into our next question, I would like to welcome one or two questions from the audience. Let's make this a bit interactive. I wouldn't want to make it a bit boring only from my side. So let me give one or two people to ask a question to either of our speakers today, and we'll proceed from there. So anyone with a question, please raise up your arm, then we'll give you an opportunity. The team on the technical team will be able to support in that. So anyone? Anybody? Meanwhile, let's kindly subscribe. We are live on YouTube as well. Please subscribe on our YouTube channel. And this recording will be there, and many other sessions that we have had before. So please subscribe. Anyone with a question, or no one has a question? We have a question on the chat. And Patrick and the team, do you have any question on the chat? I don't see the question on the chat. People are just excited. Oh, wow. I've seen a question from Blessing Clinton. See, let me read. This is a passage. Allow me to read it. She's a United Blessing Clinton is my name. I've always tried to set myself down at the very beginning of the year and list a few things that I'm going to do. And for the past 2.5 years, thereabout, I've been struggling to stop masturbating, and every year since at the beginning of the year, I always commit and write down that I'm going to do several things, including stopping that act. But when I move for like 3 months and later find myself falling to it, I feel like I have lost everything, and from there after I feel disappointed and fail to get off from blaming myself. How do I move on from such act? I wanted to thank you so much, Blessing, for being open and honest. And it really takes heart. Let's clap for him. I don't know whether he's a him or her, but let's clap for him. It takes a lot of strength for someone to share such information. I wanted Engineer Horace to respond to that, but I think he has had network glitches, so he's off. But let's
Yes,
have.
I'm on actually.
Pardon?
I'm on, yes.
Yes, you're on. Kindly respond to that question.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Blessing, for that. And again, like Stephen has mentioned, really, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so many times we have these what we call the resolution set either at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of any particular time, and we have what we would say maybe inconsistencies in keeping track of what we have looked into. And those vary based on the different goals and objectives that we have, but particularly to Blessings concern. I think for me, what I would advise is to focus more on, you see, we've talked about understanding who you are. You see, having that definition of self, knowing who you are, but then you know who you are in who, or who you are in what. There's a scope of definition. So meaning, for me, I'd look at it in the perspective of knowing who you are in God. So firstly, understanding that within your means, I can promise you that by yourself, you always keep regressing into a spiral of the same thing because it's not within the means of man to save himself. It's not within the means of man to uh, deliver himself from certain things. So meaning it must definitely be something beyond you, something beyond yourself. And that's why now, coming back to what I said, with for me the source of all the strength and everything has to be within God. So when you now get to that point, the emphasis ought to be on the understanding who God has called you within Himself. So who you are in God, who you are in Christ. And when you now get to learn this, of course, right through the teachings from the Word, from church, from studying the Word, from listening to the Word being taught, and really cultivating that relationship with the Word, because that's how you get defined and that's how you know who you truly are, because you can only know who you are by through the one who made you. Yeah, so when you know who you are, then the focus now comes to who has actually God made me, what has He made me as, and then the focus should now move to your true identity rather than the things that are around you. So your focus now becomes who you are rather than what you are doing or what has happened or the uneventful things around. Because as you continue to behold that, as you continue to behold that image, for as you continue to behold that person that you now say that you are, because when you understand who you are in God, you realize He has not called you, He has made you, and He has brought you out of any sin or out of any mishaps or any of those kinds of habits and all that. So He has made you above them. So understanding that He has made you above them, then now you focus on that person. Yes, like you said, after 3 months you find that you've made the mistake again, but then the issue is that people always move to focus on the mistake or on the wrong thing that has been done. Yet the true eyes ought to be on who you are in Christ, who you are in God, who He has made you as. And as you continue to focus on that, what you focus on, it starts to define you, because what you behold, you will believe. And if you believe it, you will behave as what you have believed. And if you behave as what you have believed, you will become what you have believed. So that progression of what do you behold, then what, because what you behold, you will definitely believe. And if you believe it, will you behave like it? So if you behave like it, then you definitely become it. And continues to go around. So when you see yourself as one that has overcome this habit, or one that has overcome this habit by the power of Christ working in you and by the finished work that he has done, then you now see yourself as what we say an overcomer, that someone who has gone beyond, who has now become more than a victor, more than a conqueror of whatever thing. So as you continue to see that, if it so happens that after those few weeks, you still find yourself going back, you still remind yourself that actually, no, I am not this. This is what I am. So you still behold what you truly are, and that being defined by what God has made you. And the more you continue to behold that, I love this song. It says that as we are talking about, as we continue to behold the Christ, as we continue to behold that trueness, that truth, all other things, they grow strangely dim. So the way to overcome these things is not to cross it off your list necessarily and say, I am fighting to not become this. No. Instead, focus on your true identity. Who has God made you and called you as? And as you focus on that, all these other things that are not in the definition, and like Dr. mentioned, they're not in the specifications of who you are, they will all drop off. They will become strangely dim. You won't even remember. You won't even be remembering the last time you caught yourself in certain things. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for Doctor. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You can never do this by yourself. You have to connect. You have to connect. And I don't know whether Blessing is a Christian, but please connect yourself to the word. Just listen. If connect to the church that you're in, listen to that word every single day. Read the Bible. Just forget about it. One day you'll wake up and it's no longer that. Don't just focus on it, just like engineers has talked about it. I don't know whether Doctor has something to add on that. Do you have something to add on it?
Yes, Stephen, for Blessing, well, commend you for sharing. Just to remind you, as a man thinketh, so is he. Now, usually, these behaviors, the actions we take, come as a result of a process. Your mind has thought about it, it has triggered emotion. We call it the think, feel, do cycle, the think, feel, do cycle. And so by the time the action comes, it has gone through a thought process. Now, the power of the mind right there is very, very important. Be careful the things that run through your mind, because I don't even want to focus on the act of it, it's the thought of it. And so if you create your life with your mind, and the mind has power, because by the time the action comes, the mind has gone there before. So the body follows the mind. And so leverage the power of the mind. When the mind brings in the thought, fight it there. What do we call it? What do we call it? Fight that thought in a way, and you're going to put in some work. It's not going to go away by its own. You as engineer Horace has put it, you say the prayers, but and also you will put in the work. And so be careful. Try to flood your mind with other kinds of thoughts, not those that trigger such kind of behavior, because the think, feel, do cycle kind of insinuates that your thoughts influence or have an effect on the way you feel, and then your feelings will bring about an action. And so once you understand that the action did not come just there, that it went through a certain kind of process, then you curb it from the process. And so pray about it, but also watch what you're feeding your mind. Try as much as possible to intercept such thoughts. And how do you do that? As Engineer Horace was sharing some tips. When you're triggered, and this is not only for Blessing, who is struggling with masturbation. Others could be struggling with adultery. Others could be struggling with these behaviors. And intentional living, the topic we are on right now, means you be in control. You decide. If you don't want to do, if you know something is bad, don't do it. and say, I'm not going to do it. And then tell your mind, I am not going to do it. If you need to say a prayer there, distract yourself with other positive thoughts that will trigger positive feelings and other positive behaviors. And so leverage the power of the mind, pray, be in environments that will not, tempt you into such things. But remember, the body, the actions will follow the mind. And so instead of worrying about where the body is going, I think would focus more on where the mind is at a certain moment. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts or thoughts that would lead you to a wrong path, intercept them. Get out of that environment. I mean, if you're tempted, get out of the environment. The Bible will tell you that there are so many other ways that of escape that have been provided for you. If you're thinking bad about something, put some good music, listen to it, get a book, read it, get off social media maybe for a while, go visit a friend. And that's what we say, be serious, push yourself, do things, because nobody is going to come and help you get out of those negative behaviors and actions that you're struggling with. Take charge of your life and be the one in control. Let me tell you, God will always be there to help you. But if you don't put in the work, if you leave it to chance, if you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you from that situation, then you might be in trouble. Get tough about it and say, I am tired of this situation. It's time for it to stop, and I want to stop it now. If it comes back after 3 months, say it, I won't do it, maybe seek counseling, put in place systems that are going to protect you from such behaviors. Now, it's easier said than done. And so you're going to have to, get annoyed about the situation and do something about it. God bless you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doctor. Let's clap for Doctor. It reminds me of recently, there's someone that was played at Fanero. For those who pray from Fanero, there was this particular lady that someone made me actually tear. This particular lady, she was struggling with alcohol and drug addiction. And she was so tired about it. She was frustrated. She was living in debts, And one day she meets Apostle Grace somewhere, and Papa prays for her, and someone invites her for her to church, and she comes in to church, and she just enjoys the environment. And just like Apostle Grace always says, he says, stay in the word, regardless of what you're struggling with, whether it's in a habit or anything else, finances and many others, stay in the word. Don't just disconnect yourself. So she said she kept coming to service. She said she kept coming to church. And one day she just noticed that alcohol had become bitter. She could, every time she could take it, it had become so bitter. All over the sudden she stopped, because now if something becomes bitter, that means she stopped. She didn't, she even didn't put attention to it, just like Doctor said. She didn't put attention to it. Her mind was actually replaced by something else. Apostle Grace, I think in one of the men gather sessions, said something. He said that you can never overcome addiction because it's pleasure, and pleasure can only be replaced or can only be dealt with when something more pleasurable replaces it. Okay, so when something more exciting replaces it, then definitely we forget about it. That's the only way you can overcome such habits. So just like Dr. Engineer Horace has said, just keep connected, listen to the word, occupy your mind with something else, which is much more pleasurable, which is much more exciting. Distract yourself and plug yourself to the source. Thank you very much for that question.
And let me just add something that I had forgotten there.
Yes, please.
The Bible also says they shall be transformed by the renewing of their mind. So I just wanted to emphasize the point of the mind. So you want to change a behavior, you will need to go back and change a certain thought pattern, because it starts in the mind. And so if you're going to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, then you need to pay attention to the renewal process and how you can renew your mind. And again, it's by just changing your thoughts, intercepting them, and doing things that, if you're feeling bad, or if a bad thought comes, it has come, and somehow you could even have played a part in bringing it in. So participate in explaining that thought and inviting another thought in. And it might be as easy as saying what you want to think about. And so let's be intentional about it and chase away the thought when it comes. Chase it away. You have the power to chase it away. Chase it away and say, you thought, leave. And then now tell your mind what you want to think about by guiding it. Either pick up a book, pick up a phone call. And so use your words, the power of your words, but also use the power of your mind and take advantage of it as much as possible if you want to change your behavior. Thank you. You're muted.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. I was saying that we have a number of questions on the chat and we are running short of time. So we're going to answer some of them, and others definitely they will be able to respond to them later on. Probably on the chat or any other. I hope some of you guys who are not in the group, please make sure you join the group. Most of this information is shared in the group. So let's have some questions here. Someone is asking question. Cosmos says that my question is, how do I really find myself in a midst of many aspects? What is the indicator of your calling? And let me have engineer respond to that, but let's keep time, maybe 2 minutes or one, just to respond to that. Thank you, engineer.
All right, thank you very much. I think that's a very good question that all of us always have to keep going back to. I can almost assure you that there's no one that has 100% found themselves fully, if I should say it in that way. So meaning it's actually a progressive understanding, it's a progressive growth in that knowledge and in that understanding, because you realize what, for example, what you thought you knew about yourself some years ago is much different or much less than what you know about yourself right now. So the point is not in the finalization of saying I've now finished finding myself. No, the point is in that process of continually finding yourself, because the more you continually seek to understand and know who you truly are, the golden rule, know thyself, the more you seek to do that, then the more you discover, the more you uncover actually. You realize that actually God has not put boundaries on, he has not put boundaries on the possibilities of your life. As he mentioned, one of the quotes that Apostle Grace has mentioned before is in reference to us living, having infinite an infinite scope of life. So meaning you're not going to come to the end of that. You're not going to exhaust it. You're not going to exhaust all that you could be. There is still more. There's always still more, because with every threshold attained, with every level attained, the stakes are, you open up new levels. It's like you keep unlocking newer levels. So don't usually people, and also as someone was asking about if where they are is not the same, is not where they think they should be. It's not so much about the end of it. It's more about who you become in that process of seeking to be and to release all that you should be, to manifest that fullness of that potential. So what this means is, firstly, you move with a place of contentment, but then with the zeal and desire for more, with the zeal and desire to know more. So meaning where you are, can you be faithful with where you are? For example, you might be asking, you're saying you're a student, and you want to know the purpose of your life, the fullness of the vision, why God has called you. Yeah, that's wonderful and that's good. But in practical steps, where you are now, at the student level, you understand that you're a student doing a particular course or doing whatever. Are you faithful with that? Because that's the principle, that you're faithful with this knowledge of yourself that you have, therefore more will be given unto you. So now that you know that you're a man, for example, that you're a young adult, at school, studying, doing this and this, are you being faithful enough with the knowledge of who you are, even to that extent? Because the more you are faithful with that, you find that in that faithfulness also there is an action to know more. So meaning you will not, when you know yourself, yes, you become faithful with that level, but in there starts another desire for you to know more, because you realize that there is much more than where you are. Yeah, so I think that is one of the things that we always want to have brought into context. Yeah, don't wait to first know the full thing before you can say, I know. No, don't wait to first have the full painting before you can say, I know, or before you can walk in that fullness. So you don't say, now I am not reading because I need first, I'm not reading these books because I need to first know exactly who God has called me to be. When I know who God has called me to be, then I will, if I know He has called me to be an engineer, then I'll read books of engineering. If I know He has called me to be this, I'll start reading those books. No, the faithfulness with where you are right now. What are you? Where are you? Firstly, even the basics, you know that you're a man, for example. So have you tried to exhaust what it means to be a man? Why God has created the man? Just some simple basics like those. So for me, I believe so strongly in the principle that the word emphasizes. If you're faithful in the little, you're faithful in more. So if you're good with this little, definitely more knowledge, more revelation is also going to come to you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, engineer. Let's clap for engineer. Let's clap for him. And I want you to have a thought. Why do you think a pyramid is wide at the bottom? That's exactly what engineer was trying to talk about. But also, I want to really emphasize something here, that your purpose and assignment and calling is always around your gift and talent. Okay, studies have reflected that your purpose and assignment is always evolving around your gift and talent. And you know that is my calling. Is always around what is that thing that you seamlessly do. You do it with ease. You do it, you find yourself doing, you find yourself inclined to doing it. You may be in sciences and you're inclined to people. Maybe your assignment is somewhere there. I mean, so sometimes it moves around your passion. So there are those indications that God has given you. You find yourself struggling in a certain space, yet you find yourself thriving in a certain space. Maybe somehow, somewhere, God has given you. That's where your assignment, that purpose is. So also take a look at that. Just a thought to ponder on. But most importantly, why do you think a pyramid is wide at the bottom? Just something to think about. Thank you so much, engineer. So let's just have this question that finds interesting, and I'll direct this to Dr. Nita. Abaho Kenneth says, how do you deal with the inner fear? Step out from the ideation to real launch. Everything is documented, but feel you aren't ready to launch the vision again. So this is a question. This question always comes up every time we have a conversation. And I remember people that the Lord impressed in my heart the idea of Future then about 2-3 years ago. But struggling throughout that very period of time, I actually was it. I was in it. I was in that very space that you're talking about, and I understand really that is it the right time to start? I'm not ready. Like God, this is not ready. I don't have the finance. How do I start? Whom do I know? And all these questions around there, and you fear, what if I fail, and all that. So I really understand. So Doctor, I want you have investments, you've started Shine Leadership, you have food processing and many other things that you really started. You're an entrepreneur and a founder. Can you help really about and many other people here? How can they overcome that fear of starting?
Thank you. First of all, whoever has fear in starting anything, it's a very good indicator that it's time to start. So start anyway. Stop waiting for the fear to go. It won't go. And so if you don't start, you won't move. So start. So it's an emotion to propel you to do what you're supposed to do. And so don't use it to deter you from doing that which you're supposed to do. So you want to start something, but you're afraid. Do it afraid. That's a book by Joyce Meyer. Do it afraid. What is there to lose? And if you're still young and you that means you have quite more chances of learning so many new things, because before you succeed at something, you're going to fail many times. So the fear of failure, once it's there and you feel it has come, that's the right energy you need for you to move. And so use it to move forward, not backward. I can tell you that from experience. Everything I've done in my life, many times, every time, I'll do it when I'm so scared and nobody will know. But deep down, it's me who knows, oh my goodness, how am I even going to do these things? Sometimes I'll find myself, you sign, even by the way, the PhD was a step taken with a lot of fear, because there are so many negative testimonies out there about pursuing. I don't know if Engineer Horace has had the same experience, but there are so many negative comments about marriage that you are like, should I go, should I not? And so once the fear is there, do it, but of course, do it with wisdom. And now don't go launching and, just because we've said do everything you fear, then we find you and then you say, I was so scared, so I did it. Do it with wisdom. Seek counseling. There is wisdom in having a number of counselors. So uh, if you're scared of doing something, it's not an indicator for you not to go forward or not to do. It's an indicator for you to say, do more research about that thing you want to venture into so that you become more confident in it. Okay. It's an indicator saying that maybe there's someone you need to talk to, maybe they'll guide you better. So use the emotion of fear to do the things you have to do to get the things done, not for it to take you backward. But also, I want to tell people on call, lastly, is know the season of your life. Sometimes you might want to do something in a certain season of your life where you're not supposed to do it. And so that could also trigger the fear. So be sensitive. You be interested in your own life to know, what season am I in? Why is this fear coming? How can I use it for good? Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that, and we really appreciate. I'm seeing just as you're asking a very important question, and by the way, let's clap for people of Cavalry. I'm seeing so many students of Cavalry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Cavalry. This is amazing, and we hope to visit your school one time. Thank you so much for attending. I'm seeing many of you guys on the call. Thank you very much. I wonder how you got to know about this conversation, but well, we are here. So just as asking a very important question, but I'm afraid we may not answer it in the conversation of the symposium. Really, he's asking, given the unpredictable global economic shifts, what 3 practical actions should a young professional in Africa start implementing now to position themselves for success, for successful international living by 2026? Wow, very interesting question. And please keep that question. If you can, kindly secure a ticket and be on that symposium, because these questions are going to be answered. If you're unable, definitely we'll be able to answer it later on. But because of time, allow me just keep it there. Then many other questions are going to be responded to that. But I have this very last question that I would like to really throw to all our panelists today, which is very, very important here. And I would like to request us to give us additional 5 to 8 minutes just to have this answered, then we can round it off. And the question is very important here. Holistic growth demands balance. How can individuals intentionally align their, number one, spiritual, personal, professional, and financial pursuits to create a life that is both impactful and sustainable? And let's mark that word impactful. Let me repeat the question. Holistic growth demands both, balance. How can individuals intentionally align their spiritual, personal, professional, and financial pursuits to create a life that is both impactful and sustainable? Let me begin with Engineer.
Thank you very much. I think, again, that's one of the things that always really comes up, especially in such talks, the place of balancing And for me, from what I've come to learn, even by my own experience, is usually we talk about balance and seem to make it as though, seem to imply that life is compartmentalized. Like you have 20% here, 20% here, 30% here, then like that. So you find people who, you find someone who is saying, now when I am here, that is a different thing. Then when I'm here, it's a different thing. When I'm here, it's a different thing. And I understand in terms of seeking to have an organizational perspective of life, and that's okay. But then beyond that, I think the ultimate balance is not a balance of that kind of compartmentalization of life events and life definitions. I think for me, it is in understanding that in all, you have to be true and authentic in all. And I usually think of the example of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was 100% man and 100% God. So he was not sometimes 30% here, then sometimes 150% there. No, 100% all through. So that oneness of self, I believe it's what now starts to, what I say is in not seeking to balance that oneness of self, but rather seeking the true fullness of who you are. So when I am in class, I am Horace Muhamia. When I am in church, it is me. It is the same true person there. You see, not in and that brings in the aspect of not trying to live what they've called maybe living 3 lives or 4 different lives. Yeah, but seeking to be true in all that. And for me, that I found becomes I found that becomes a, a sort of simpler way of running through very many things. And really, I think I also have that kind of life of having very many things. You're juggling work, doing this and this, moving here and there, very many things running at the same time. But the one consistent thing is that I am true in all. So I am true and authentic in all. When I am interacting in this, it is me fully there and truly there. Yeah, so fully there and also truly there. I think that's what really now starts to say, then how do you balance this? Yeah, if you how do you balance education and work and then family and then this? Yeah, truly whole and truly yourself. Yeah, so for me, I think that's one of the ways of understanding that place of the contextualizing the balancing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Engineer Horace. Doctor?
Yes, thank you so much, Engineer. Thank you so much, Stephen, for bringing this, for steering this well, this far. Again, we'll anchor it in a vision. Now, if you're going to balance your life, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be true to yourself and be one, as Engineer Horace has put it. Be aware of the different hats you wear at different times, because balancing life is, with time, will have to be like a skill you need to have, because if you don't, then it's very easy for you to mismanage yourself, but also to mismanage the resources that you have. So the different hats, it could be career, it could be family, it could be your spiritual part of it, it could be your parenting, it could be in business. And so that is life. And so for you to balance it, you're going to have to be intentional about documenting. We have so many documents, but I don't know how many people have a document about their self. Like you, the person, you, your spiritual life, you, your career life, you, your financial life. Maybe if we have some people, they can raise their hands, but document your life. It's that serious. And so, because if you don't, then that means there is no serious planning around it. That becomes very dangerous. And then it kind of helps you balance, because then after you've documented, you have a vision for your career, you have a vision for your finances, you have a vision for family, you have a vision. You kind of plan these things down and write and say, I want to start a family at this age. And this is me being practical. I want to complete my master's by this age, because we're not going to be here for 1,000 years. No, there is really, I mean, we are all believing God for a number of years here on earth, but a few of us will plan for it. So between your 20s and your 70s or 80s or 100, you'll have like, say, 70 years. Have you planned for that? You know you will retire in future. Do you have a retirement plan? Are you saving for that business you want to start? And so being serious about life and your vision is not you just wishing for things, but even after you've gotten that good idea, write it down, write the vision, but also write a few action steps, like one or two, that for me to start this business in the next 2 years, I'm going to start saving 5,000 starting tomorrow or starting today. Then you start saving your 5,000 and open a separate account. That is being practical. And so that will help you balance. Otherwise, if you don't do that documentation and that is being intentional, then you'll find one side of life overwhelming the other, and then you go out of balance. And that becomes then again very dangerous. And so have a clear vision, write some goals, and then take action on each goal. Small steps, they don't even have to be big steps. You want to achieve a master's, uh, start by, if you tell us how you're going to achieve it. Is it by applying for a scholarship? Is it by making a phone call to get that sponsorship from a friend? What are those small things you're going to do, those steps you're going to take? And then take them. Because it's one thing to say, I am going to do, and then it's another thing for you to actually do. And so I'll leave it at that. And I want to thank you all for participating and staying up to this end. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was so amazing, very insightful. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed. Have you enjoyed? Please share with us your feedback on the chat. We have a feedback form as well running on the chat. I think the team is sharing it. Please fill that feedback, give us that feedback. And we are so excited really that you came. Thank you so much for those that have stood with us from the very beginning. We started the session. We hope this has been so impactful. Quite a number of wisdom that has been shared today, wisdom and revelation coming from engineer Dr. Nite, coming with very insightful and counsel and wisdom, really dissecting how we can navigate through life, understanding ourselves and many other things. Really, this is practical wisdom, and please take this seriously. Plan your year, set up goals and go ahead and act on them. Remember, the Bible says that if you're serious about Christian, then act like it. Okay, faith without action is dead. So please go ahead and act. Remember this: the principle, the law of seed and harvest. You can never harvest something that you've never sowed. You've never sowed. You have to sow it first. Water it, and after watering, then you should be able to harvest. So this has been a very wonderful conversation. I love. It's very calm, wisdom coming through, and it's so exciting, really. I look forward to going back on YouTube and listening to this once again. Sometimes when you're this side, you only sweat and you don't take time to fathom and take through the notes and many other things. So after this, I'll be able to go back and listen to this once again. But this has been a very wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, our speakers. Thank you, our panelists, for sharing with us and giving us time. We are really humbled. And just in 1 minute, I would like to give each of you just to give us your parting shot and possibly wish us a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Let me begin with the engineer. Yes, maybe the engineer.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, the Future Den team, and for each one of the people attending. Thank you so much for joining in. I believe the mere fact that we are on session, that we are attending this, is a clear indicator that we are already serious about our lives, and that's a very that's a very good step forward. And so after all this, I hope that we've all picked some nuggets here. Myself personally, I've also picked quite a lot. Yeah, so let's not just store the videos and store the phones. Let's go and act on it and have some tangible fruit coming in ahead. And yeah, thank you so much. For those that will be attending the event, we'll hopefully see you there. And thank you very much, Stephen, once again. Thank you, Doctor, for having us. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Doctor?
Amazing. Thank you so much, engineer. My parting shots would be this. You can become anything you want to become in life. You can become that. You have the power. It is in you. God put it there. And those visions you're seeing every time you go to sleep, that dream that does not go away, that thought that keeps popping up, that's a signal. Don't ignore it. And so it's not a lie. It's something that you will become. You just need to be patient. So be patient as you move towards achieving your vision. It takes time. If the vision is big, it will take time. So be patient. The second thing, there is no vision that has ever been achieved alone. You will need a group of people around you. And so network with the right people, be in the right places and get the right connections, but also have some genuine friends around you. Get help, get mentorship. Lastly, and this is the most important, no matter how big your vision is, no matter how intentional you are, no matter how determined and hardworking you are, if you don't have a relationship with God, and if you're not in right standing with Him, you'll be building whatever you're building on a very weak foundation. And so do yourself a favor. If you're still young, and I'm talking about campus, or you're still at the university, you're in high school, the younger you are, the better. It's a tough journey. You cannot do it on your own. And so those visions God is giving you, it is Him who will help you achieve them. You will not achieve them on your own. So the earlier you start figuring out a workable relationship with Him, a genuine relationship with Him, and for us Bible believing Christians, the only way to that is through Jesus Christ. And so have your plans, commit them to Him, because it's only Him who will help you achieve that vision and dream. So get into a relationship with Him. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thank you for logging in, and I wish you all a blessed night. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can be whatever you want to be. Wow, that's amazing. That's kind of an energizer, and I believe some of us here will live, energized, strong. Go start. When you feel that conviction, doctor said, the moment you feel that conviction, it's a sign that it is time to start. Start that vision, start that dream, start that goal, anything that you've written down, please start it. Even if you've not written down, go write it, just like engineer said it. Go write it now and start acting on it. Now is the right time. There is no right time than now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, I would like to invite each of us, please make sure you attend the symposium. Those who are outside Kampala, it's an hybrid event, both physical and online. We have a very good streaming team. We have cameras in place for you, everything. You're going to get every single side of the event. You feel like you're physical. We have people out of the country who are going to attend the event. So please make sure that you secure your ticket early and attend the event. Those who are in Kampala, please come to Skies and enjoy. It's a very nice environment, too serene, very nice atmosphere. After the event, we are going to have, just enjoy the networking. I believe Doctor will be there. And please, if you've never shaken her hand, please that day come in and shake her hand and just have that moment, network, ask for numbers and many other things. Otherwise, that's it from us. Thank you so much. We wish you a Merry Christmas and have a beautiful week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.